Welcome to the Gump report. I botched this 3 times already. Trying to come up with a way to explain what's going on here. Okay, let's get down to it because this doesn't need to be that long. You want to know my thoughts on Sammy and the Andrade Cien Almost? Because he wants to become Andrade Cien Almost again, not Andrade El Idolo anymore. Because this is what's been going on. They've already been talking about Andrade been considering trying to go back to WWE, but he is in an ironclad contract. He can't get out. And we also know, due to the fact that there's some shenanigans going on, I've never said Triple H was an underhanded bastard. We can call Triple H many things. He cares about the talent in WWE. Yes, that's the truth. He cares about his freaking legacy. Yes, that's the truth. But is he known to be underhanded little bastard? Yes. He is no different than any pro wrestler who will politic or do some shenanigans to get what he wants. And we already know from Swerve Strickland that, hey, I've been contacted by Triple H. I think you should know this, boss. Darby Allin has also been, I believe, contacted by Triple H. And he spoke out about it to a Tony Khan. Now, Tony's already made it clear he's not letting go of anybody at this moment because of what just happened with Triple H, who has now been approaching his talents, trying to find a way to get, not Darby Allin, Adam Cole. My mistake. I take that back. I just remembered. It was Adam Cole, next to Swerve Strickland, who has been contacted by Triple H to try and find a way to slip them out of there by trying to get out. They went and told their boss, and even though both of those guys may respect Triple H, like I said, does he love his talent? Fuck yeah, baby. Does he love his legacy? Yes, he does. Does he love the company in general? Yes. But is he an underhanded, sneaky bastard? Fuck yes. Paul Levesque will do whatever it takes to get what he wants. We know this. So, the major situation that we see here is possibly Andrade trying to get out of his contract. Now, here's where it gets interesting. We know for a fact that this happened on the day of the show. Not during the show, but on the day of the show. We just saw last night that Sammy had the altercation with Andrade. Andrade was sent home, and Sammy was not. We did not know the full story. That's the reason why I said I didn't know if it was a work or if it was a shoot, what was going on Twitter. If you don't know, you got Andrade going on a podcast talking. I'm not going to be specific. It doesn't need to be. Pretty much, Andrade said something. Sammy said something. Sammy insulted Andrade. And Andrade said clearly, I'm going to see you on Dynamite, bitch. I'm going to whoop your ass. Basically, that's what it comes down to Twitter. Now, what we thought happened, because this came out just shy of the show being over. Well, pretty much just a little bit after the show was over. This was reported, or was partially reported just shy of the show being done, that Andrade was sent home. Sammy was allowed to stay. And as I said in my review of this week's Dynamite, you could see the fans were really hating Sammy like crazy. That means they already knew the altercation happened and they couldn't stand Sammy. But this is what has come out with Dave Meltzer and what happened with Dave Meltzer reported this. Also, Roger Geary now supposedly is reporting it, or it's going to be on Wrestling Inc. or FightNetwork.com. I can't remember the name of it right now. I'm blanking. But this is what has been reported. Dave stated that that was inaccurate. What had happened, and this is being reported, that Sammy Guevara did not do the first punch. Supposedly in the original, Andrade approached him, Sammy punched him, Sammy shoved him, and then Andrade punched him. What is now being reported is that Andrade spun him around and punched him. Well, I'm kind of rushing here. I'll give it to you like this. Sammy didn't throw any punches. He said, I'm not going to do anything. Andrade grabbed him and eventually started punching him, and that is when the fight and altercation started. Andrade was sent home, and Sammy himself was allowed to maintain his spot on Dynamite at the end of the show, where he was allowed to win with a Chris Jericho. But here's the thing. Was this right what Andrade did? No. If he's not happy with AEW, he's going to have to eat it, because what's going on with Triple H trying to pinch or poach as many talent that he had lost due to, let's make this clear. If Triple H had his way, not one person that is currently in AEW or that went to Impact Wrestling, Bobby Fish, would not be gone due to the fact of Vince. Vince got rid of them, or he basically pushed them all away because he didn't like how they were being presented. He didn't like indie wrestlers. That's the truth. That's Vince. He doesn't like indie. And since he didn't create them, Triple H did, he wanted them gone, or he wanted to recreate them in his own image. If that didn't happen, not one of these people would have ever left WWE. He wouldn't have let it happen. That's Paul. That's Triple H. But due to the fact that many went to AEW, he wants them back. He's rebuilding a roster in the image of NXT. Doesn't mean I like it or not. It's not the point. He's trying to build it the way that he had it when he ran it. That's the original developmental NXT. He's running WWE that way, and many people liking it. And now that many people like it, we got a major problem when it comes to AEW. Now you got a product that looks exactly how AEW did when it first started. You got two products that are indie companies, one with billions of dollars, well, near $1 billion, another one near or above $1 billion. This is what you got. It doesn't make a difference if you like the style of AEW or you don't like the style of NXT. Both of them are very similar. Well, at least they used to be. So, what do we got? When it comes to Tony, he has lost control of his roster. So flat out, that's what this comes down to. And even though Bandino, if you hadn't seen last week how he went up against of a Chris Jericho, Bandino has been re-signed, which I think is stupid. And I did hear a Just Alex say, oh, and this is what his review last night, and he covered that. Said, oh, now you're gonna hear me say, oh, this is dumb. Now it's even gonna get more bloated. The AEW Dynamite roster. Don't worry, they'll have time. Sorry, I don't agree with him. I'm sorry, I don't. He said, and this is, guys, when you look at the last 3 years of my channel, I have always said the roster is too overloaded, and as it stands right now, we should not be getting more people in. Yes, I can understand when it comes to Keith Lee or Tony Storm. Yes, I understand there's a lot of great talent. But with so little TV time, and the majority of your fan base, and this is what I'm saying, the majority of the fan base is not looking at Dark and Elevation. You can go on the YouTube channel. Are there millions of people looking at Dark and Elevation? No, you might get between 100 to 400,000 people. I haven't even looked lately. My guess is it's maybe about 150 to 200,000. Go and check for yourself. I'm not saying that they got millions of people there. They don't. So having Dark and Elevation there is stupid. You should have restarted ROH as a developmental and closed down Dark and Elevation. But Tony's not done that. He hasn't. If you're not going to put the majority of your people on a show that had a name to it, and that is ROH, and you still can't renegotiate the contract with Rampage, maybe in the beginning of next year, maybe he can finally get 2 hours on Rampage. What do you do? This is what many people keep saying, don't worry, it'll be fine. That's JD. He said that for more than a year and a half to near 2 years. So did Just Alex. So did Solid Monster. So did Wrestling Inc. Podcast. And anyone else. They said, don't worry. Let's get these people into AEW. They will be good. Don't worry about the roster being bloated. Well, guess what? The roster is so bloated right now. Tony, who is trying to be friends with everyone, has lost total control of the damn roster. Look what happened when, and I said this myself, at least a month ago, when it came to Big Swole. She was doing what she was doing to basically make herself look marketable. But she wasn't lying totally. She said there's something going on with the women's roster, which I've said the women's roster has been garbage for more than 2.5 years. I have not changed what I've said. They needed to do something. When it came to Kenny Omega running it, it's been wrong. It's not been working. I've said this longer than they have. They kept saying, just take your time. Don't worry about it. They'll get it straightened out. No, they didn't. With Saraya, does not mean they'll still have the roster working. This is all coming down to Tony. Tony Khan is the issue here. He has lost control of what's going on in AEW. I think it started when Cody decided to leave. When Cody left, that's when this madness started. So what does this really mean for Andrade Cien? Well, because he wants to become Andrade Cien almost again, not Andrade El Idolo. He's sent home. I don't know when he'll come back. He might even get suspended, maybe. Sammy Guevara, he's not, well, he didn't start it. They've already stated that he's not going to fight Andrade. Andrade threw the first couple of punches, and then that's when it really went, and then it was over. But this is what it comes down to. Sammy caused now 2 situations. The first one with Eddie Kingston, who literally himself, he admitted he should have never went that far, and he owned up to it. That's the reason why he came back on TV eventually after suspension. Now again, we get Andrade, who has been looking for a way out due to the fact of what Triple H had already started doing, trying to undermine a little bit of AEW by trying to tell the people he used to work with, who he really cared about, who might want to go back, but don't have well, they're not going to be underhanded. Look at Swerve Strickland. He may do what he's going to do, but he's a good employee for AEW and told Tony. When it came to Adam Cole, even though he loved WWE, he loved Triple H, he loved a Shawn Michaels, he's working for another company. He will not disrespect that company by trying to mess himself up or trying to get himself out. He's with his woman. He doesn't want to do that. So for the ones that are not wanting to leave, even though he did talk to them, that's what happened. And that's why Tony has locked down anyone who wants to leave right now. He's not letting anyone go due to the fact that Triple H has been messing with his roster. But if Andrade has now reached a point where he's not really doing a lot, and now that Triple H is in control of the main roster of SmackDown, Raw, and even though he isn't booking NXT, he now has somewhat changed a little bit. What do you have? You have an Andrade who wants to go back, but he can't get out of his contract. And if that is the case, which it looks like it is, he's trying to cause trouble for himself, and now he's been sent home. Maybe he'll be suspended with no pay, and he will not be allowed to leave, at least until a Tony gets the idea, you know what, he's not helping me, I'm just going to get rid of him. But then it's just going to feed into WWE. And at this point, with his roster controlling the locker room, and now attendance is wavering a bit due to the fact of not very good booking. You heard my review if you've seen it. My review shows there are issues. Yes, the show is good, but there are issues. Why are you interjecting so much ROH? I understand the Jericho War, that's what I'm calling it. When it comes to Chris Jericho going to deconstruct ROH to the point where it's like nothing, and they're going to find the right person to reconstruct ROH when hopefully, because Tony wants it on a network, he will have ROH on a network, which is stupid. He should just get rid of Elevation and Dark and put ROH on YouTube. Leave it there. But he's not. We got a big mess on our hands. This, I am telling you right now. I'm telling you this now. This looks like WCW all over again. Now, I know everyone is not going to agree. Maybe the best, it looks like it, but the closest relation to this situation is a reverse of ECW. Now, it looks like, to many people, it looks like WCW all over again with Ted Turner. But this kind of feels like ECW. You got a small company, even though it's a very large one, AEW. You got a lot of people who are loyal to AEW, but also you got people in there that were brought in who are disenfranchised from the previous company, like when it was WWF and WCW. You got a lot of people there. But then you got a situation where you got a contract with a network, and that is TNT or TBS. And clearly, the contracts there will not allow you until they renegotiated a new deal where you can increase the amount of time on your show. And that is for Rampage. They need 2 hours for Rampage so they can have a more well-rounded show, and they can't yet. So you got people who are sitting, doing nothing, or you got people who are working dark in Elevation where almost no one is watching. Normally, what does Dynamite and Rampage get? Both separately. Rampage, maybe 400,000 to 500,000 people if you're lucky. And Dynamite, maybe between 1 to 1.1 million people watching. And you got maybe 1 to 200,000 on Elevation and Dark. Tony needs to reconstruct everything from scratch. This is the problem right now he has. He has too much going on. He has almost no control over his roster. Sammy Guevara may be innocent because of what happened with Andrade, but guess what? He should have been sent home. Yes, I know Alex just did his video about, 15-20 minutes ago, apologizing to Sammy Guevara. But Sammy started this. He fed into it. He already had a problem with Eddie Kingston. Now, even though he did not generally do the altercation, he started messing with Andrade, fucking with him because he used to be a former WWE guy, wanting to rub it in his face that you'll be nothing, you little motherfucker. You are nothing but a WWE guy, a mid-carder. I'm at least main eventing, bitch. Who isn't to blame here? Andrade takes part of that blame. He wants out. At least that's what it looks like. But Sammy now has 2 situations that he needs to be reprimanded right now. He needs to be reprimanded. If he's not taken off of TV for a couple of weeks to pay for it, he needs to be suspended or without pay. Make him come in without pay. He doesn't get paid. Something. Honestly, this situation is really messing up AEW. I'm telling you right now, if Tony doesn't do something soon, if he does not do something soon, he is going to have a situation where the roster is going to be so out of control. Sooner or later, someone is going to get physically badly hurt on TV because they're going to have a situation. You notice how AEW has been more physical, way more physical than it normally would. People are beginning to bleed now. They're trying to make this show really mean something. Look at Roosh. His nose started bleeding. We're getting blood almost every week now. Not just because they're trying to do it, but because the wrestlers are being way more physical. And I know, and I did hear about Sammy Guevara getting angry at Andrade. That was because of the podcast. That's what led this. That he was way too physical for him. Bitch, please. Sammy Guevara is a bitch. Wrestlers gotta take getting bumps. The only thing you do if the wrestler's too rough with you, you face the bitch, male or female, and say, dude, baby, that's for the women. Girl, that's for the women. Dude, for the guys. Look, me and you don't work that great all together, but let's try and make this work. You were a little too hard on me, man. Face the man or face the woman and say, hey, crank it back a little bit. You're going to hurt me. We're supposed to watch out for each other. Now, if it doesn't work then you go to Tony. You're supposed to work it out between each other. Being bitches is stupid. No, I know it didn't say anything about the Acclaim and Big Daddy Ass. I left it out. I was thinking maybe I do a Gump report on the rise of the Acclaimed. I thought about it. That's one of the reasons why. Next, I did forget. I'm not going to lie. I forgot. But after I did my filming, I did remember, and I thought, since I messed up, maybe I should make it into a Gump report on how the Acclaimed has risen to the point no one can believe. And I just found out what Castor is bisexual. I don't really care as long as he's booked correctly. And that segment was done well, but maybe you guys want me to do a Gump report on the Acclaim with Big Daddy Ass, one bisexual and one gay guy. Not saying that's bad, is it? They are over like stink. And that's great. I personally don't care if they're both gay or lesbian. If there was women, I don't care if they were both lesbian. In this situation, I don't care that Castor's bisexual. And I don't care about Bowman being gay. I don't care. As long as they all work together. If Billy Gunn is more than willing to work with a gay and a bisexual, who cares? Let them be booked correctly. Book them. And see how the people love them. Scissor Day was over. That means something. But this is just me. Please give me a comment below in this Gump report and tell me, do you want me to do a Gump report on the rise of the Acclaim? And I know I'm not going to remember everything about the Acclaim, but I will give you my thoughts on how they've been booked, how they've been presented after Bowman got hurt, and how it was for Castor dealing with by himself. You just tell me. Peace.